News presented by your Tampa Bay area Volkswagen dealers. Drive bigger.
Good evening, I'm Dahlia Dangerfield, and this is your Spectrum News in 90. Governor Ron DeSantis has extended the state of emergency to all of Florida. That's ahead of Tropical Storm Ian. The original emergency declaration issued on Friday was for 24 counties. Meantime, sandbag locations have opened up in several Bay Area locations. NASA canceled the Artemis 1 rocket launch originally scheduled for Tuesday due to Tropical Storm Ian. NASA says Artemis managers will decide on Sunday whether to roll the rocket back to the vehicle assembly building. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, food prices have gone up more than 11% since last year. That's the largest 12-month increase since 1979. The Osceola Council on Aging tells us the increase means many families are foregoing nutritious meals. And those are your headlines. Time now for your weather.
Meteorologist Diane Katchmark. Lower humidity right now. That cold front brought in the lower dew points, which will stick around into Sunday. But then Ian will be impacting us starting Tuesday, and that will start with rain. So we're expecting some areas of heavy rain developing and moving northward on Tuesday, and the winds may increase on Wednesday. So we'll watch for the track of that storm. But in the meantime, enjoy temperatures in a few spots in the upper 60s in areas north of Tampa Bay to mid 70s in Tampa.
Our top story, hearts are heavy in Pinellas County after a hit-and-run crash claimed the life of one of their deputies. A memorial grows for Deputy Michael Hardwick. Many have placed flowers, American flags, and notes on his cruiser, the cruiser now located at the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office. Spectrum News reporter Fadia Patterson explains how the community and law enforcement are trying to cope with the agency's second line of duty death in just 19 months. Scary moments for families at a Chuck E. Cheese in Brandon Saturday. Authorities say someone fired a gun outside the pizza restaurant, then a car crashed into the building. Take a look and you can see crime tape around a white Audi and damage to the Chuck E. Cheese building. This all unfolded on the 1500 block of Brandon Boulevard around 5 o'clock. We know the driver was taken to the hospital. 2 women and a child were also treated at the hospital for non-life-threatening injuries, all related to the car crash. But investigators with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office says this started when a fight broke out inside of Chuck E. Cheese. A private security guard took the crowd outside. A woman pulled out a gun. The security guard tried to take it away. Then authorities say another woman picked it up and shot at least 1 round in the air. And while all of this was happening, the car crashed into Chuck E. Cheese. Residents can't believe what happened.
Just a quiet area most of the time. I mean, it's busy on the streets and everything, but it's quiet, so you don't expect to see stuff like this. So.
We know there were no shooting victims, and it's unclear whether the car crash and the shooting were related. Authorities say everyone involved is in custody. President Joe Biden approved an emergency declaration for Florida Saturday evening. This as the potential impacts of Tropical Storm Ian continue to develop for the coming week. President Biden ordered federal assistance to help out with state and local response efforts. The move comes after Florida Governor Ron DeSantis declared a state of emergency throughout the state earlier Saturday. In a press release, DeSantis said, quote, "The storm has the potential to strengthen into a major hurricane, and we encourage all Floridians to make their preparations." Hillsborough, Pinellas, and Manatee counties also issuing a local state of emergency on Saturday. Hillsborough County parks will be closed tomorrow to support sandbag locations opening. Several Bay Area counties have opened sandbag locations already ahead of the storm, and we have a full list of those locations and their hours on our website at baynews9.com. As we continue to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month and bring you stories honoring culture and tradition, we turn our attention to one local nonprofit owner who has made it her life's mission to nurture and care for pets. pets who are looking for their forever homes. Our Spectrum Bay News 9's reporter Elise Underwood shares her story.
Meteorologist Diane Kaczmarek. Our weather is pretty quiet right now with a little fall cold front that has moved through. But we're following Ian down in the Caribbean because it will have some impacts for us starting on Tuesday. So this is the feature. Notice it's not quite as organized as it could be and will be for that matter. A lot of showers and thunderstorms right now, but the wind shear is lessening, so it's going to start looking a little bit more like a tropical feature and get maybe a center that's a little more visible in the satellite. That's because the wind shear is lessening and all the ingredients are coming together for this storm. Right now it has been tracking a little bit more just westerly, and that's why the tracks have all shifted a little bit west in that latest advisory. But it's likely to turn as it's moving around an area of high pressure right toward the Cayman Islands and then across Cuba and into the Gulf. So by that point, we will see the impacts here as the deep moisture moves in ahead of it. So starting Tuesday, heavy rain will start moving in. But let's look at the big picture. Heading down to the south, we see Ian getting better organized, moving across Cuba and getting out into the Gulf on Tuesday. So that's when we're really going to start seeing the impacts. When the track gets a little more fine-tuned, especially when Ian gets more developed, the track will get more fine-tuned. The computer models can basically see it and forecast it a little bit better. We may be seeing some watches being issued as late or as early as Sunday evening. So that's what we're going to follow very closely. But either way, we'll start getting the rain impacts on Tuesday. Overnight, a few clouds, comfortable 75 degrees. And as we head into Sunday, mostly sunny skies and only a 30% chance for a few showers or maybe a storm. Your 7-day and more details on the tropics will be up in the next 10 minutes. Here's Claystron 9.
To the point already. A week
of Spectrum Bay News 9 is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Here are your winning lottery numbers.
Neighborhoods in the western part of Puerto Rico are still struggling after Hurricane Fiona. For leaders there, it's been a tough week. But Spectrum News' Nick Popham reports that despite the challenges, there is work that needs to be done. Fiona knocked out power to more than 500,000 people in Canada. The storm made landfall early this morning as a post-tropical cyclone hit Nova Scotia. It brought heavy rain and wind to the area, knocking down trees, power lines, and flooding roadways. So far, no injuries have been reported. Storm conditions are expected to impact eastern Canada throughout the weekend.
Meteorologist Diane Kaczmarek, let's take a look at our weather story and get you up to date on the tropics that will be impacting us. Right now, we have lower humidity. We get to enjoy that through Sunday. But then, starting Tuesday is when we will start feeling the effects of Ian. It's going to start with the heavy rain on Tuesday, so that will be pushing in from the south. So that's the first beginning of things. And we may have that opportunity for rain really starting to fill in Tuesday afternoon, but then those rain chances will be for Wednesday and Thursday and even possibly into Friday. So that could mean some flooding. But we'll start with a heavy rain on Tuesday. You may want to mow the lawn on Sunday or Monday. And then possible winds on Wednesday depending on the track and the size of the system. If we're going to get any tropical storm or even hurricane force winds, we would start seeing that pick up in the winds on Wednesday. So we'll follow that when we get a little closer. But this is what we're expecting for the track. Right now, a little wind shear is still impacting the system, but that's getting a little lighter as the hours go by. So this will likely get a little stronger even by this evening's update. And then as we get into Sunday night and Monday, we may see quite a bit of strengthening, and it could happen rapidly because right now it looks like all of the ingredients will go along just well for this storm to develop. Everything that is favorable is likely to be in line. That's why it could be very strong as it moves into the Gulf. And we still have the same conditions there that will keep it strong. So we're going to keep an eye on it, because if it's large and strong, even if it's farther west, it will have an impact. This latest track was shifted a little west because the storm is still moving a little west, almost west-southwest. So all of the models kind of shifted west. So the result is that track. Rainfall, an issue. Heavy rain across the waters, no big deal. But then the Cayman Islands start getting it on Monday. Then western Cuba. And now here we are Tuesday afternoon, and that deep moisture is coming in almost like a wall. So the rain will start ramping up through the day on Tuesday, and we may see those high totals keep adding up. So even if the storm is farther west, which the highest rainfall totals will be there, if we get some of those rain bands that repeat over the same spots, we will end up with high totals, and that can cause some flooding for our area. So that is one factor. Looking at the path of it, it's right there in the middle of the Caribbean at this point, and it is going to continue to move then northwest on Sunday and then almost northerly on Monday. So there you go, right by Grand Cayman, that little island there. And then we follow it again, and by the time we get into Tuesday, that little piece of Cuba it moves over probably won't do a lot to weaken the storm. It might slightly, but it will be brief. Then we're expecting that to be in the Gulf here on Tuesday, and then we will really be keeping a close eye on that storm, the strength of it. Now here's what's happening as we watch an upper level trough is going to deepen again as we head into the next couple of days in the work week. So when we start getting Ian into the Gulf, does this trough pick it up and make it turn a little bit faster to the east? Or does this trough lift out before this storm gets a chance to be picked up by it? Then that's when we'll have more of a westerly track. So we're still following this. It's a few days out to watch that atmosphere change and follow what exactly will happen. But we'll have some impacts. So let's go into the overnight. Some upper 60s in a few spots north with the lower dew points. That's nice. And still again boating. You've got another day east-northeast and then northerly winds at 7 to 14 knots on Sunday. The rain chance is very slim. Next 7 days, 30% of the area will see some showers on Sunday, maybe a storm inland areas. Monday, about 40% of the area, still generally from Tampa Bay east and south. But then on Tuesday, 80% of the area will see showers and some storms. We may see some gusty squalls as the winds increase for Wednesday and Thursday, along with the heavy rain, possibly even some storm surge issues beginning late on Wednesday and into Thursday. So we will follow that closely. Friday and Saturday, rain chances still continue.
Tropical storm Ian is putting a wrench in NASA's plans to move ahead with the Artemis 1 mission next week. NASA confirms it will not launch the moon rocket because of the potential storm. NASA said it is now preparing to roll the rocket back to the vehicle assembly building. That could happen as soon as this weekend. Engineers will make a final decision on the rollback on Sunday. If Artemis managers approve the decision, the rollback will begin either late Sunday night or early Monday morning.
Presented by your Tampa Bay area Volkswagen dealers. Drive bigger.
Meteorologist Diane Katchmarek. As we head into the morning, our temperatures can actually get into the upper 60s in a few spots in Citrus and Hernando counties, courtesy of these lower dew points. We'll be in the mid-70s at the highest around Tampa Bay, mostly clear and comfortable. During the day on Sunday, humidity reasonable, but later in the day, the dew points will edge up a little bit. And we're also looking at enough moisture for 30% of the area to see a few showers.
You're watching Spectrum Sports 360.
It's a race for the #1 spot in the American League wild card race, but the Rays are heading into another critical game with some bad news. Plus, an SEC East showdown in Knoxville. 2-1 Gators visiting 3-0 Tennessee. We take you out to Rocky Top for the highlights. And then
a lot on our hands, but nothing we can't handle.
Tom Brady and the Bucs are set to face Aaron Rodgers and the Packers tomorrow. We preview the Bucs' much anticipated home opener. And the story about one local CFO gearing up for her biggest competition yet.
For me, it is mostly about doing things I never thought were possible.
The 360's Catherine Smith has her story in tonight's centerpiece. Roll the intro. Spectrum Sports 360 starts right now. The Rays, in the middle of a wild card race, entered tonight's Game 3 against the Blue Jays with some devastating news. Hey there, thanks for joining us here on Spectrum Sports 360. I'm Katya Guillaume. Pitcher Shane Baz will miss out the rest of this year and all of the 2023 season after having Tommy John surgery. And second baseman Brandon Lau is now expected to miss out the rest of this season as well due to a back injury. Tonight, Game 3 of this 4-game series against the Blue Jays, Tampa Bay won the last 2. The Bucks are finally home after opening up this season with a pair of road games. Tampa Bay will host Aaron Rodgers and the Packers tomorrow. Now, is tomorrow's game against the Packers a trap game for the Bucks? What can we expect when Brady and Rodgers meet on the gridiron for possibly the last time? WDAE's Ronnie Lane and Tom Kresnicki give us their prediction for tomorrow's game in tonight's face-off. Thanks, gentlemen. Kickoff is set for 4:25. We got to head into a timeout, but on the other side of the break, much like putting in work to help others, one local Habitat for Humanity exec has put in the work to help her in the biggest stage yet.
We don't give away our homes. This is a hand up, not a handout. These homeowners work so hard.
In tonight's centerpiece, the 360's Catherine Smith shares her journey to competing in the Ironman. And 1 and 2 USF is in Louisville looking for a win against the Cardinals. Will they bring home the win? Highlights coming up. Before we go, let's bring in meteorologist Diane Kashmerick. And Diane, Bucks fans are excited. Home opener tomorrow. How's it looking at Ray J?
You know, I don't think it'll be too much of a problem. Rain chance is really, really small. And, you know, the humidity is down just a little bit. So that's another factor that might be all right for sitting outside. But it will be warm. Do keep in mind the game will start. It'll be right around 90 degrees. And then we will look for that temperature to come down to about 82. The rain chance, I put in 10% because there'll be a few showers that pop up in inland spots. So a very slim chance that those could get to Tampa. So look for mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. You might even need some sunscreen. But let's look at this forecast as we head into the morning. A few clouds, but still comfortable. Our dew points did drop, so we'll get into the mid-70s in Tampa, and even a few spots in the upper 60s around the Nature Coast. So that will be a little helpful, but those dew points are going to be gradually coming up a little bit later in the day. Mostly sunny skies. We still hit 90, and 30% of the area will see a few of those showers, maybe a storm. Better chances for rain, though, kick in starting Tuesday.
Sports 360.
Welcome back. Thousands of athletes are competing in the Ironman this weekend in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and that includes a leader of a local nonprofit. As the 360's Catherine Smith tells us in tonight's centerpiece, helping others make themselves feel at home is a highlight of her job. All right, guys, we got to take one last time out, but after the break, our athlete of the week comes out of St. Pete High.
And to have that ability and that athleticism, that's why I say he's going to be playing on Sundays.
Our Olivia Stacy introduces us to him. But before we go, let's bring in meteorologist Diane Kashmerick back out here. And Diane, you guys are busy back there, keeping an eye out on Ian. What's the latest?
You know, we haven't gotten the latest update yet. There have been some changes in the way it looks on the satellite, so it might be going through a little transition. But the winds are still 45 miles per hour at this point, and it's drifting westward, but it is very shortly going to be making that turn into Sunday. And it looks like at that point the wind shear will lighten up. So all the ingredients are in line for this to strengthen. So that's why we're seeing those numbers increase here. In fact, almost all of the models are increasing the strength of this storm, getting it more organized as it crosses over Cuba and gets into the Gulf. So we're going to be watching to see how close that ends up being to us, because it will change the impacts that we get. But there will be a powerful storm in the Gulf as we head into next week. Looks like right now our first effects will be Tuesday as the rain starts increasing. It'll ramp up from south to north across the area, so rain chances minimal until then. Tuesday's rain chance gets higher. Flooding rains could be possible through Thursday.
Attractions Insider, a weekly Spectrum.
Play of of the day. Miami hosting Middle Tennessee. Third quarter, Chase Cunningham goes up top and hits DJ England Chisholm. This one goes for 98 yards. Those two hooked up another 71-yard strike earlier in the game. Middle Tennessee stuns the Canes 45-31, and the Blue Raiders take home tonight's play of the day. Welcome back, guys. So USF put up a fight against the Florida Gators last week. Although they lost, the Bulls fans were impressed by how close the game ended. St. Pete High football is turning its program around. The team won only 2 games combined the past 2 seasons. But the Green Devils already surpassed that win total after a shutout win over Dunedin last night. As a 360 Olivia Stacy explains, a big reason behind the turnaround is their quarterback, Jeff Jones. Jones is our athlete of the week. Thanks, Liv. That'll do it for us here on Spectrum Sports 360. Tomorrow, the Rays close out Game 4 of the series against the Blue Jays, and the Bucks home opener tomorrow afternoon against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Join us right here at 10:30 on Spectrum Bay News 9. Be safe. Have a good night.
Here's what's going on in our community.
Brought to you by the Golden Diamond Stores.